YouTube, this is Felicia with Bible Scraps or Journal Scraps, depending on the channel you are watching, and welcome again to another one of my heat machine videos. I have started a heat machine series. You can check out that series, which I have spearheaded from my new channel called Journal Scraps. You could click right now in the upper right hand corner and you will be taken to my new channel. You could also click in the links below. You could also click on a thumbnail at the end of this video. I tell you, you guys, this heat machine series is super duper cool. In the series, I share how to create what I call sacks, what I call fatsies. I also make cards, mixed media style cards, and bookmarkers using the heat machine. You would want to jump on board and become a part of this series because collaging has not been easier. Collaging has not been cleaner. I share a no fuss, a foolproof, well, I shouldn't say foolproof, but it's a clean, no glue, heat layering method that I use to create beautiful works of art. Now, with that being said, I must give a disclaimer. I use the heat machine / laminator in a way it was not intended. You can void your warranty. You may not get the results you want. Your results will depend on the machine you are using and how you are using your machine and the sandwich you are using and what you are fusing. These techniques may not work for you. If you decide to adopt my method, do proceed with caution and with common. So I've released 3 videos so far in this series. Once again, these videos are available on my other channel, which is called Journal Scraps. And one of those videos is all about creating this beautiful sack. If you want to know how you can use your heat machine to create something similar, head over to my channel. But in this video, I'm using this machine in a total different way outside of what I have shared in this series so far. And it's really cool. I absolutely love it. It's just another way of doing the same old, same old. In this video, we are going to have fun and play and get our hands dirty. I show how you can make something that looks like this. Now, you can make these things without a heat machine. I'm just sharing how to maximize the usage. There are some benefits in using the heat machine with things that techniques that we already employ. There are some benefits in using the heat machine, and in this video I'll share a benefit using your stencils and texture paste with the heat machine. Have you ever thought of that before? Now, some of this may look messy because I was experimenting. Once again, this video, it's all about having fun. It's about playing. It's about getting your hands and your fingers dirty. This is a napkin, you guys. Now, this one I did not use the heat machine, but I do share a technique. It's a cool technique, so stay tuned for that. This one, I think I did use the heat machine. I forgot. But this one, I use the heat machine. Basically, I am playing around with different wet mediums in this video using my custom sandwich. Did I say custom? My custom carrier sandwich and the heat machine. And in this video, I am using Heidi Swaps. You guys don't know how her machine looks. Let me show ya. I'm using this machine at the highest heat setting, which is number 5. Okay, you guys, it's time to play. It's time to experiment. It's time to get our hands and our fingers dirty. Let's play and see what we come up with. I'm using one of my custom carrier sandwiches. I'll have the video linked below if you're interested in creating your own. I'm going to start off with a thrifted piece of scrap fabric. You could use paper. And what I did was I grabbed different art mediums. in my craft to mixed media play. I wanted to art journal play. So I grabbed a lot of wet mediums, including liquid pearls. You might have the Novo drops. You might have something similar. Grab it, play around with it, and see what happens. Okay, so what I'm going to do two things with this first use. I'm going to apply the Novo or the liquid pearls right on the fabric, but then I'm going to apply some right on my mat. And this mat I will reserve for my mixed media play. It's going to get dirty. You can clean it, and then you'll see as I fuse, it'll clean itself. Okay, so I'm going to send this through my Heidi Swap, and I have my Heidi Swap set at number 5, the hottest heat. So while that's fusing, let me go back to my examples. This one was really cool, and I hope I remember. This whole process reminds me of working with the gel press. Have you guys worked with one of those yet? It's really cool because you lay down ink, and then you could use the positive and use the negative, and that's what I did for these techniques here. Okay, my mat is out, and you see the spots here. Well, it's not on the top of the mat. That's from the inside. But you do get an idea of the form, the shape that the liquid pearls made. Gonna lift it right up, and you see the little dots on my fabric. Oh, I like that. I'm not worried about my mat staining. I can clean that, but I'm gonna leave that. And you see, these are the dots that I added directly to the mat. I'm gonna leave that there. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use a stencil. Yes, yes, and yes. But I'm going to, and this stencil, by the way, comes from Tuesday Morning. It's a Bible journaling stencil. 6 stencils for $2. Your stores still may have these. Okay, I'm going to lay my stencil down right. Well, do I want to lay it? I'll lay it right here. And I'm going to use our Journey color splashes. We have these on sale, 20% off for the month of April. And I will, how did I do this? Okay, let's just play because I forget. But I'm going to spray, lightly spray. I don't want to spray too much, right on my mat. Oops, and let's make sure I got some protection underneath my custom made mat. I have paper towels down and just lightly spray. Okay, that was 2 sprays. I probably could have got away with 1. I have a napkin that I've separated down to 1 ply. I'm going to carefully pick up the stencil, and you see the design there, right? And what I'm going to do is apply the stencil with the ink on it right down to my napkin and leave it there. And then I'm going to take another piece of fabric, one that will cover up my design. I'm going to lay it down, close my mat, and fuse it again. I'll take a liner sheet, the non-stick side, and lay it down, flat down, and press the ink from the stencil to my napkin and lift it up. And take a look at that. Isn't that cool? I love it. So instead of using your splashes or using your sprays on paper towels, a lot of us crafters, we use paper towels. You can use a non-stick, a silicone mat, and get more usage out of your splashes and your inks. And that image looks really, really, really good. The only thing is the word is backwards, but I could have prevented that if I used the opposite side of the stencil. I love that. Okay, so I just recreated this one by making the one on the right. Love it. Okay, let's take a look at how this fusing turned out. Now, did you guys catch that? Did you catch that? Did you catch that? The liquid pearls that I applied directly to the mat transferred to this side of the fabric. Love it. So the fabric didn't cover up all of the liquid pearls, which is why you still see some here. Alrighty, let's turn it over and take a look at that. Look at that, you guys. A soft impression from the stencil. Love it. So the one on the napkin is darker and the one on the fabric is lighter. I love it. Love it, love it. Let's move along to the next technique. And I hope I could pull this one off, you guys. I hope I can. I hope I can. Going to use fabric again, but you could use paper or you can use a paper napkin, and I'll do that next. Going to open up my mat. I'm not too concerned about the ink stains. Well, you know what? That's still wet. What you can do is use a baby wipe. Real easy to do it. I would leave it here, but because it's so easy to clean with a baby wipe, go ahead and clean it. I don't want to clean this part though. Alrighty, lay my fabric down, and I'm using the stencil again. And you know what? I'm going to use stenciling paste. Yep, I am going to use stenciling paste and fuse it, and we will see what will happen. And I'm using my fingers. I told you guys we're going to play, have fun, and get dirty. Get our fingers and hands dirty. Okay, so using my fingers just to apply this down. Did you guys catch the sale last year or the year before last when Joann's, or was it Michael's? Michael's had this stuff like 80% off. I got every color available, and how I wish I would have hoarded this. I love Heidi Swapp's texture paste, and this is her metallic line. So I'll fill in some of the rays. Have you guys ever tried this before? Normally using stencils, you let it dry on its own. But no, I am going to lay this, close my mat, and fuse it. I'll get that going. And then, well, I don't know if I have enough on the stencil to create anything with it. So I'll just use my paper towel and press it down. I don't think, yeah, it's not enough on the stencil to make an impression. Now, you guys, I don't normally clean my stencils, and I'm okay with that. But if you want to work with clean stencils, clean it right after. I'm going to return back to this napkin. It really is texturized. It's raised. And this is on a paper napkin sent through the heat machine. Alrighty. Let it cool for a second. And you can see the impression there. Let's open it up. Well, it's cool enough. And peel it back. And take a look. Okay, so you see some staining there. Some staining there. That is A-okay. Oh, you know what, you guys? I made a boo-boo. I got to do this again because I did not do it this way. Okay, but you see what this particular technique, what it produces. But this is not what I did to create this one. and this one. So let's do it one more time. I told you guys I didn't remember what I did, but just play and have fun. I'm going to use a different color texture paste this time. Let's use this pretty metallic teal. Yeah, I totally did not. Okay, this is really unorthodox. You guys just watch what I'm going to do. This color is so pretty. Love it. If I wanted to, I could use different colors. Okay. This is what I did. I left the stencil in my sandwich and fused the whole thing through. Yes, okay. I already. You see all that color right there? Let's peel it back. Yes, this is what I did. Okay. It appears to be stuck, but it's not really stuck. Maybe I should let it cool some because it is warm. Take your time peeling back the stencil like so. Oh, that is so pretty. Now take a look at this, you guys. Just look at that. That won't be there the next fusing, but take a look. Oh, this is so pretty. I love this stencil, the praying hands. If my store still has a pack, I'm going to get a second pack. Now, what I love about this particular method, well, the texture paste, it heat sets, or should I say it dries. You know, texture paste takes some time to dry, but with this, you almost get an instant setting, like it dries when it goes through the heat machine. That is pretty. But what I want to show you, let me set that right there. What I want to show you, what I want to show you is what we can do with this negative. Okay, so I'm going to use a paper napkin like I did for this particular print. If I could find my paper napkin. Okay, I'll use this one. And this is 1 ply. And I'm going to fold it. Put the whole thing, or put it right here. Fold it and put the whole thing through the machine. And in case you're wondering what you can use with these pieces, use it in your crafty projects. Use it in your art journaling. Use it in your mixed media projects. Use it in your scrapbooking and your card making. I endeavor to make a story quilt, and I've never seen what I want to make. So I got the idea in my head, and I plan on using these things that I make with the heat machine in my story quilt. We'll see how that comes along. Okay, are you guys ready? It's a little warm, but let's take a look. Now you got to be careful because we are using a paper napkin and it can tear. You do want to let it cool and pull it back gently. Okay, and take a look. Take a look at it. Now I do have some black that came from the mat, and this is where you want to clean your mat if you don't want the additional colors to transfer over. But that's pretty. The reverse image did a good job stamping out. I love it. This was the original one, much darker, but this is what normally would have been wasted, but you can use it on fabric, on paper. In this case, once again, it's a paper napkin, and you can get a cool design. Love it. Okay, what I'm going to do, oh, also, do you see how the liquid pearls transferred over here? I love that technique. adding liquid pearls right to the mat. And you know what? Let's do that again. I'm going to use the Novo Drop, and I'm going to just randomly add liquid pearl. Send it through. Let serendipity have its way, because I want to add some of those drops right to this piece here. I love it. Or I can add it to my napkin. Now the cool thing about working with napkins, they're thin. You can decoupage with them. You can collage with them. You can use them in the heat machine. If you're following my heat machine series, you have seen how I use paper napkins to create what I call sacks and fatsies. I also have videos, they're not published yet, but they're done and they're up, making mixed media cards and bookmarks. So super fun, and using the napkins. Okay, let's see how this came. Oh, okay. I thought I had fabric in this, but I had the Nuvo drops. And you see what it created? Now what I'm going to do is add my fabric down, but I don't want all. Well, you know what? Why not? I'll just lay it down and let serendipity have its way. So while that's fusing, let's play around with some of our other art mediums we have. Let's add paint. Paint right to the fabric. Add a couple colors. And we're going to fuse this and see what happens. And also, while we're at it, let's add, I'm going to grab some alcohol ink. Do you guys work with this on fabric? It is nice. You're going to see in upcoming videos some coloring done on fabric. Oh, and this cap is all dried out. But you know what? I'm going to leave it. Leave it, leave it, leave it. You see how that spreads like that? I love that. So I added a little bit of alcohol ink. Whoops. All right, let's set this to the side. We're going to fuse this next. Let's see how this looks. Okay, it did clean the mat. I have another technique cleaning the mat. You just have to watch my videos. But look at that. This color is it's very light, so you could barely see it, but it adds texture. It adds a design to it. So I love that. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's now add this piece. And what I'm going to also do, just like I added the Novo drops to the mat, I'm going to add some paint just to see what happens. And use it. So I'm not sure if you guys heard that. Did you hear that sizzling? That's from the wet paint. So if you adopt this particular technique, you don't want to add too much paint as to cause the paint to smear over, because it'll get the inside of your machine dirty. But that sizzling sound was really cool. Okay, let's see how this looks. You see some blotches there. And then you see blotches here. This is the paint and this is the Novo drop. And I think I probably got some of the paint inside. So I needed to interject this. I was uploading my video and then I was still playing with my machine. But I wanted to show you what will happen if you have too much ink on your mat, or if your mat isn't big enough to hold your ink, because when you fuse through, the ink will flatten and it will spread. Well, the ink did get inside of my machine. My machine is okay, but I want to show you, I sent this through and this is the ink that transferred to this piece of paper here. And so what I did was I put two pieces of paper together and folded the paper and sent it through to clean out my machine. So if you decide to adopt this particular technique, you know, you risk getting the inside of your machine dirty. If that happens, you can clean it with just folded pieces of paper. To avoid that, don't adopt this particular technique, like using your sprays and the wet inks that will spread, or don't use as much, or use a larger. Let's peel this back and take a look at it. That's cool, right? That's the alcohol ink. These are the Novo drops, or the liquid pearls. And here is paint, and here is paint. That is cool. So cool. Alrighty, now what I'm going to do is grab another piece of scrap fabric and see what happens. I want to see if the paint is going to transfer to my fabric, but I'm anxious to see if the paint will transfer. And it did a little bit. You could still see the paint here. This paint is still here. But let's take a look. So it's darker on this side because this particular design transferred on top. This one didn't transfer much at all. So take a look at that. Yeah, you get more of a faint look, but you see the liquid pearls. Oh, it transferred solid. Did not leave any on the mat. Love it, and love it. Now, these paints don't seem to transfer from the mat. So play around with the paints that you have, because you might have a paint that transfers more solid than the ones I'm using. Okay, you guys, so I just filmed a segment, except I did not hit record. And you know what? I do not feel like refilming. So this is what I did. Well, you know what? I put it back. Oh, darn it. Okay, let me show you something. I experimented with my stickles. Also, some Pearl X powder. And I'm looking for the piece I experimented with. And another product. Well, nothing happened. The stickles, I put some on the mat to see if it would transfer to my fabric, and no, it didn't. It adhered to the mat, and I used my fingernails to get it all off. And that other product I used, nothing happened. But you can see the Pearl X. If this is the one, I poured some Pearl X on. Oh, you know what? It's still here. The Pearl X is still here. It's a powder, and it did not adhere to my fabric when I fused it. However, it did leave some speckles, and I'll play more with that in another video, but not too much happened. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, you guys. The point is, experiment with what you have in your stash. You never know what results you'll get. To do a quick recap, we did this print in the video, a solid print. And remember, with this one, I removed my stencil from my sandwich. We also did this one in the video. This was a negative print, and this is a soft print, but you can still see the design, the praying hands and the rays. I did this one off camera. Beautiful. I used the stencil that had the ink on it and placed it right on top of this paper napkin, and it transferred beautifully. And I love the technique because you get more usage from your ink. And this one I also did off camera. This was the negative of, this is texture paste, and it's the negative design. Love that. And this was one of my original prints too. It's kind of messy, but I think this was the negative 2 from the stencil. And did this one on camera. Love this one. This is textured paste. And even if your prints don't come out perfect, you can still use them in your altered art, your junk journaling, your mixed media projects. And I didn't show this one, but this was also from the stencil that had the ink on it. I just turned it over on this paper napkin. I think these techniques are super duper cool. Play around with whatever art mediums you have. If you guys learn of any new techniques, please leave those in a comment below. I will continue to experiment. I will continue to play. You will see me using some of these techniques in upcoming videos. Once again, I've started a new channel, and I am spearheading my heat machine series from that new channel. You can click right now in the upper right hand corner and you will be taken to my new channel. I share some cool techniques, you guys, a cool method, just an innovative way of maximizing our heat machine to make the cleanest, very simple collages and mixed media and altered art, with just whatever. It's just a unique way of creating. If you have found this video to be inspiring, why not give me a thumbs up and like this video? Subscribe if you have not done so. Feel free to adopt my videos. I just ask for, or adopt my methods. I just ask for proper credits. Do give shout outs and do link back to this video. And feel free to share this video. Now, I want to thank you all for watching. As always, blessings.